Filmmaking, to me, has always been about the art of connection with others. After all, what experience could be more intimate than expressing the high highs and arduous lows of a person's life, complete with sounds and visuals that put you in their shoes? Maybe that's why I've always been interested in Hattie McDaniel. Born the 13th child of a formerly enslaved couple in Wichita, Kansas, McDaniel's large form, voice, and even larger stage presence led to her becoming the first black individual to ever win the highest award in cinema, an Oscar for the highest grossing film of all time, David O. Selznick and Victor Fleming's 1939 magnum opus, Gone with the Wind.
Miss Scarlett, where are you going without your shawl and the night air fixing to set in? And how come you didn't ask them gentlemen to stay for supper? You ain't got no more manners than a field hand. After me and Miss Ellen done labored with you. Miss Scarlett, come on in the house.
I can't help but feel she is a defining figure in why I view cinema as such a powerful tool for connection. After all, my introduction to her Academy Award-winning performance served not only as a moment of connection to her, but to the most important person in my life, my mom, Lisette Moore. Hi, Mom.
Hi, my favorite daughter.
Mom, I'm your favorite daughter, but what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Gone with the Wind.
I have this distinct memory of being 4, 5, maybe 6 years old, and walking into my mom's room to say goodnight, only to be enraptured by the VHS tape playing on her screen. My little eyes had walked in upon the scene of Vivian Leigh playing Scarlett O'Hara and proclaiming,
God is my witness. As God is my witness, they're not going to lick me. I'm going to live through this, and when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No, nor any of my folk. If I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill, as God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again.
The camera pulled out to reveal her silhouette against the sunset-lit, war-torn tree, and in my kindergarten-aged mind, I declared, I don't know what that is, but I want to make that for the rest of my life. There's a lot that can and has been said about McDaniel's roles and how over 30 of them centered around the stereotype of a mammy. A mammy being a black woman older in age who works as a maid or even a slave to one or more white people in a story. But I think to reduce McDaniel to such an easy explanation is such a crime and a disservice to her as an actress. In particular, my mother and I have always been struck by a quote attributed to her. I'd rather make.
What'd she say?
I'd rather make $700 playing a maid than $7 being one. Because yeah.
And you have to take the jobs that are
Available
out there. You cannot criticize that woman at that time for doing that because she played it with such dignity.
Yeah.
She was acting her role very well.
Yeah.
And if you're going to criticize that, then you have to criticize all of the actors. Everybody cannot be Sidney Poitier.
Yes.
Everybody cannot be Denzel. Then are you going to put down all the actors who've had to play like Jive Turkey or whatever, who've had to, be the thug or be the whatever? They're trying to eat.
Yeah.
They need a check too.
Yeah. And in truth, learning to tell McDaniel's story served as a point of connection to people I idolized, to Isabel Custodio, otherwise known as Be Kind Rewind, a video essayist who has dedicated her life to chronicling the stories of Academy Award-winning women.
One of the things that I really like about her is that, from my understanding, she understood that she was limited to this kind of role, but also insisted that if she were going to take these roles, she would want to make them her own and make a stamp on the film, whether or not she was given the opportunity to do that, like explicitly in the script. And I do think one of the things that's kind of overlooked in a lot of the discourse about her is how truly skilled she was at taking a very simple line reading and adding such comedic vitality to it. It feels like so many lines that any other performer could have been given are given such energy by her that's like kind of unmatched to me.
That dress fit you exactly. Didn't need no fixing when you was married.
Stanley's got a smaller waist.
And Miss Stanley takes after her mama and Uncle William, the Fitzroy side. Now you just like your grandma, Mrs. Timberlake.
Only I'm not so pretty.
No.
I've always connected to the joy you can see in McDaniel playing roles that aren't subservient, roles where she's able to dress in regalia that matches her white counterparts.
What you want?
Where'd you get that gold brooch?
You mean this scrumptious piece of jewelry?
Yeah, where'd you get it?
Just give it to me.
Who gave it to you?
Ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies.
Roles where she's able to express her immense musical talent.
Private Jones is camping on the doorstep of Miss Katie Brown. She must be the very, very coldest creature in this town. He's been there
for 7 days and nights.
and now his leave is through.
And still she won't say.
I do. Ice cold Katie, won't you marry the soldier? Ice cold Katie, won't you do it today?
Ice cold Katie, won't you marry the soldier? Soon he'll march away.
Of course, talking about these topics led to the discussion of why even preserve these stories in the first place. To my dear friend and accomplished director, Tomisin Adepeju, who's intimately experienced with using a film as a gateway to introduce others to the stories of strong Black women, both ones he idolized and ones he knew in real life.
I think they would not exist in a sense if there isn't a conscious effort as an artist to make work that celebrates Black women. You know, I grew up and unfortunately I just was not exposed to that. Everything just clicked when I saw the film. I realized that there were narratives like this that existed. And then I did some more sort of like research, and there was so much breadth of stories that celebrated Black women. And I just want to sort of do my little bit to add to that canon of great films. And because in 30, 40 years, I feel that there needs to be a filmmaker, that could be a filmmaker out there who might want to also explore that, and to have a resource of films that exist will be so important, because I think we are shaped by our past.
Definitely.
And we're shaped by history because you've seen what has come before you, and it can influence the stories you tell now and how it's perceived in the future. So ultimately, I am lucky, and I've been shaped not just by my own personal history through my parents, but through cinematic history. I think it's immensely important, and I will continue to have to add to that and also advocate for the power of these stories.
I feel like she is one of those people, you know her from Gone with the Wind, and I think so when she shows up in other films, you're like, oh, Hattie McDaniel. But you're never disappointed by it, because the things that she does in Gone with the Wind are echoed in every other performance. I mean, Nothing Sacred is definitely one that I love. Oh, Libeled Lady. Oh, Shopborn Angel. And so it makes you happy to see her, but it also makes you sad that couldn't have been taken more advantage.
I think the question is there a single moment in Gone with the Wind that has stayed with you? Because the film is shaped by very singular moments. Well,
Yes.
Is there any scene, moment that has stayed with you?
Wow.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough
It's a tough one.
I think because my mom loves it so much, there's a scene where Mammy, where Hattie McDaniel points out Scarlett O'Hara's stubbornness, and she goes,
You come and you sitting there waiting for him just like a spider.
You know what trouble I was talking about? I was talking about Mr. Ashley Wilkes. He'll be coming to Atlanta when he gets his leave, and you sitting there waiting for him just like a spider.
and she calls her out, and you can see the sort of dissonance between the fact that Vivian Leigh, Scarlett O'Hara, is not registering reality, and Mammy is a constant reality check in that movie. That sort of encapsulates the fact that, like, Mammy and the Black characters, you see that they are the voice of reason here. They're the person who this war is being fought about, regardless of who is trying to deny that, either back then or now. And they are the people whose opinion matters most. And everybody else is just like dumb. Like Vivian Leigh is acting dumb.
Fiddly-dee. War, war, war. This war talk's spoiling all the fun at every party this spring. I get so bored I could scream.
Rhett only joins the war when he knows, like, they're going to lose.
I'm saying very plainly that the Yankees are better equipped than we. They've got factories, shipyards, coal mines, and a fleet to bottle up our harbors and starve us to death. All we've got is cotton and slaves and arrogance.
And admits that he's an idiot.
And if a bullet gets me, so help me, I'll laugh at myself for being an idiot.
And then once he does something irredeemable, leaves the story.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
So Mammy is the only character, the enslaved characters are the only characters who, like, make it out of this movie with their integrity completely intact. And I think that's encapsulated in so many moments, but, like, particularly that moment of her.
The fact that a character like that existed in a film like that, I think is just, I just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And when she came on the screen and the way she embodied the character very truthfully, there was so much humanity in her character. And I thought, wow, to do this in that time period was, profound.
Yeah.
We're talking about it 85 years later.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Hattie left, she left Hattie McDaniel, Butterfly McQueen, all the people of color. We know them more than we know the sisters.
Yes, yeah.
Okay? Those are Scarlet sisters.
We are, yeah.
You know, really, it was really Scarlet and Hattie McDaniel. It was Vivian Lee and Hattie McDaniel who carried that movie on their backs. And, to a lesser extent, Rhett. But it really was so true. It was a very feminist movie when you stop and think about it. Because
it's about women surviving.
Yeah, surviving and thriving.
Yeah.
There are certain movies that anytime they pop up on TBS or whatever, and you just see them, and if you're in a place where you just have time and you just want to go away, like that's the kind of movie, enthrall. It will take you away from whatever your headspace is. And again, here we are 85 years later, talking about the impact of not just being a credit, she's a credit to her race, but she's a credit to the acting profession. Yeah. She's a credit to the filmmaking, profession. She left us with something to carry forward and that we continue to carry forward.
It is with the knowledge that this entire nation will stand and salute the presentation of this plaque that I present the Academy Award for the best performance of an actress in supporting roles during 1939 to Hattie McDaniel.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science, fellow members of the motion picture industry, and honored guests. This is one of the happiest moments of my life. And I want to thank each one of you who had a part in selecting me for one of the awards. For your kindness, it has made me feel very, very humble. And I shall always hold it as a beacon for anything that I may be able to do in the future. I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry. My heart is too full to tell you just how I feel. And may I say thank you. And God bless you.